Hello there, my amazing artists. This is Miss Deuce coming to you live from the online Bonner Art Studio. Today's lesson is for all of my oldest 3rd through 5th grade foxes. So friends, today we're going to begin a brand new big unit that we're going to keep working on for the next couple of weeks with our activities. Your word of the day for today is going to be the word sketchbook. Today, we're going to be building our very own sketchbook that you will use for your next few activities when you have different drawing prompts. We know that a sketchbook is just a book with blank sheets of paper inside it, and an artist uses a sketchbook because it's a very important part of their creative process. Sketchbooks allow them a place to think through ideas and imagine different things, and it gives them a place to practice until they feel they're ready for their final product. To build your own sketchbook, you will first need paper. I would prefer that you try and find a blank piece of paper like copy paper, but if that's not something you have, please don't go and buy brand new paper for this. Look around your house to find scraps of paper or recycled paper or construction paper or even lined notebook paper will work. You're also going to need a pencil. Then when you get ready to decorate, you may want some of the following items. You could use colored pencils, you could use your regular pencil, you could use markers, or you could even use crayons. So the first thing you'll want to do is count out all of your papers. You want to get about 10 pieces of paper. I grabbed copy paper, but remember I mentioned how you can use any type you want. And you also may want to grab some fun papers while you're at it. While I was in my closet, I found my marbled paper that I made last week during my prints, and I've decided that I'm going to use that as the back cover to my sketchbook. So I'm going to flip it over to the back and set it there. And then I found some different colored construction paper in my house. So I've decided to use that as the front cover of my sketchbook. But remember, if you don't have any paper like this, no need to go buy some. Use whatever you have on hand. I'm lining up my paper to make sure it's nice and even so that when I bind my sketchbook together, it's going to hold and none of my papers will fall out. So when you go to connect your sketchbook, you have two options. You can use a stapler, like I'm doing here, to staple all 10 of your sheets together to the front cover and the back cover. And I'm just putting a staple in the top and on the bottom so that you can see what that would look like. If you don't have a stapler, you could go and find a hole puncher from around your house and any type of string. I had some twine that I was able to find in my craft room, but if you don't have twine, you could use any type of string, such as sewing string, thread, or yarn. You're going to punch a hole right into this. Remember, that's a little bit tricky, so if you're having a hard time, you might want to go get the help from an adult. And after you punch your hole, you're going to take your twine or whatever string you grab. You're going to measure out a little bit, only about 3 inches, cut that off, and then tie a knot or a bow inside your sketchbook to hold it together. There we go. For your next step in your sketchbook, I'm going to teach you how to decorate the front cover with your name using block letters. Your first step is to take a pencil and draw a regular capital letter like you would for your name. I'm drawing my D for Dees. Then I'm picking up a Sharpie to show you so that you can see, but I want you to continue using your pencil. With your pencil, I want you to outline the outside of that letter, leaving a tiny space in between. Then you're going to jump over to the inside, and you're going to trace the inside of that letter, leaving a space. So your way you're tracing should not touch the original way you wrote your letter. Then you go back through and erase that inside. This is kind of a cheat sheet I have for drawing block letters if you've never done it before. If you have experience drawing block letters though, you can keep on continuing like you see me doing now with my Sharpie. Just make sure that you're keeping your lines really, really straight and neat. And if you think a ruler or just a straight surface on a piece of paper would help you, you can definitely use one of those as you write today. I would highly recommend that you keep using a pencil until you've done your letters, and then you can go over it in a Sharpie marker or a regular marker or crayon or colored pencil like we mentioned earlier. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want you guys to be able to see what's on the screen really clearly. So I'm continuing to draw through my letters. And now that your block letters are formed, I'm going to be showing you how to turn these block letters that are 2D into 3D looking letters that have dimension. Start by drawing small diagonal lines from the corners or vertices of your letter, and then add a vertical line to connect them. And around any letter that has a curve like a D or an O or a P, see how my line curves behind that curve and hides. I'm adding those diagonals to my E and then connecting them around the top, and see how and sometimes it makes shapes like rectangles that show that our space is happening behind our letter. But notice I always draw these from the top. I'm never adding them to the bottom of this shape because then it would make our letters appear like it's going backwards in different directions, which totally would not make sense. I'm going to continue making my letters 3D by adding these lines. And now we're going to go back and add some shading. Now you can shade by coloring in the entire section that you have that shows your letter is 3D, just like I'm doing here with the end side of my D. Or you can instead just add some diagonal lines down the side edge of your letter to suggest that there is a shadow or that it's darker back here. This is just a pen and ink strategy that we use for shading called cross-hatching, and that's when you cross your lines closely together. Sometimes they go vertically and horizontally to make it appear like a letter is darker back in space. So I'll continue to add this shading to all of my letters. For your final step, I'm going to show you how you can add a graffiti style around your letters to finish them. Now, when we've studied graffiti artists, we know that the medium or material they work with is spray paint, which sometimes leaves a splattered effect around their work, and spray paint makes the artist use very rounded edges. So, you're going to be creating some splatters around each of your letters. You want to vary or use a variety of different sizes and shapes when you create these splatters, going all the way around each letter, as you can see I'm doing now. And there we have our final product. Now, you can choose to do your name, just like I've done Dees, with the block letters, with the 3D effect, or with the graffiti design around it. Or you can go and choose your own design. There's a lot of different fonts and writing styles that you can find if you just Google it. So that decision is up to you today, as long as you're including your name on the title of your sketchbook. I also would love for you to decorate it even further by adding pictures and designs around your name, by maybe looking around your house for some stickers that you have to decorate it, or even seeing if you have some magazine pictures that you can cut out and collage on top. After you've done this, I would love for you to share a photo of your finished sketchbook on the Google Classroom. Keep it in a safe place because we'll use it in the next few weeks. Bye, guys!